This is the United Uprising channel. Welcome to today's show. I want to share something that was shared with me over on the website, uprisingrevival.com, by a subscriber named Jesus Saves, who shared this video. If you haven't seen it, probably haven't, but you might have seen it with your own eyes. How, of course, they're blurring the lines between fiction and reality. They're blurring the lines again with what they're going to do here with Project Bluebeam, with some type of alien invasion, some type of projection in the sky where a lot of people believe Project Bluebeam, they'll actually reveal what will be a depiction of Jesus in the sky to deceive many, a potential false rapture in the sky. There's lots of things that could be done with Project Bluebeam, but they actually just ran a Project Bluebeam, almost like a trial run that they were allowed to just run in the sky. Nobody asked who did it, why it was done. You know, you would think that they'd say, hey, you know, it might be dangerous to air travel. If you actually look up any articles, there's nothing even out there on it. Just videos that people took of them running Santa Claus, or I should say Satan Claus, right through the sky in major cities. And of course, the sheeple out there look up in amazement, don't even realize what's going on. They're just like, look, it's Santa in the sky, as they continue to live in dystopia. The majority of these people who actually believe Santa's real, probably at this point, will continue to be deceived day in and day out. They will not question the government's capabilities with technology. They will believe whatever's presented to them. As long as they can live in their false reality where they could see reindeer and Santa in the sky, they'll continue to ignore the government overreaching and stripping us of our rights. But here's a look at really Project Santa Claus in action.
Bro,
You gotta be kidding me.
don't tell
right
me
now.
I'm sitting here on this ferry and I see a slave going by.
No way.
Nah,
No. Yo.
it's reindeers on the front of it.
Oh my god.
Nah.
Oh my god.
Do you even it's not. No. Is this him? Santa?
Look at that.
我简直不敢相信我亲眼所看到的一切。
So when you see something like that, you should immediately start saying to yourself, okay, well, now we're being desensitized to the government's capabilities of doing this stuff in the sky. Most people already are. Most people see these things and they're like, wow, cool light show. I'm looking at a Christmas tree light show. I'm seeing Santa in the sky. And they think that we're overreacting even by mentioning something like this, which could be seen from a long distance with people's own eyeballs, instead of saying, hey, you know what? I thought we had to protect the airspace. Is this safe for flights, etc.? People don't even realize that they're showing you the technology right to your face that they're going to use to deceive you. Now, many people don't even know about Project Bluebeam, and anytime we bring up Project Bluebeam, they're automatically defensive of Project Bluebeam. They're like, that's just some crazy conspiracy theory. And they're so brainwashed that they've actually fallen into the alien deception. They've never seen anything with their own eyes. They've never, other than stuff that's manipulated in the sky by our own government, they actually believe in the existence of aliens on Mars, up Uranus, etc., etc. All they have to do is see some movies and have the government pretend like, oh, the government's hiding, aliens from us. Now, of course, I said a million times, aliens are not real, demons are. And as Aleister Crowley once wrote in his book, that one day demons would no longer be called demons, that they would have a new name. And that name, of course, is aliens. And the whole depiction of what an alien looks like is actually a demon that Aleister Crowley gave us the illustration of in a book. So nobody knows what's going on. It's pretty clear if you look around, but it's amazing. I talked about the blurring of reality too. Like, we're literally living in a reality where people are just continually, even showing your kids this, for example, right? Santa Claus in the sky. They're like, they're just kids. Show them Santa, right? Take out the whole mindset of what we all know about Santa and Satan and Nimrod. Just take that out of it. Just the fact that we, even us, right? Because we were all raised with this nonsense of Santa. The fact that we put this into kids' heads at such a young age, lying to them, telling them about and people are like, that's innocent, that's fun. You're creating and already blurring the reality in front of your own child's eyes, telling them that this is real, and then only to tell them that it's fake when they're older. They're like, it's fun, it's magical, it's this, it's that, it's literally just creating a fantasy land, and that's what we live in. We're living in if you're thinking that this world is fine, you're living in a fantasy land. If you think that there's nothing wrong with the world we're living in, that nothing bad is coming, you're living in a fantasy land. And people will continue to be distracted with nonsense like this. They'll see that in the sky, and they'll never think twice about what the government has planned for them. They'll just think, the government, they just wanted to go. Who is responsible? First of all, who put it up in the sky? Obviously, the government has to be behind it, right? You aren't allowed to do that. You aren't allowed to put, unless, corporation, or the same thing in communism, corporations and the government are one and the same. But they just put it up in the sky. Nobody asks a single question. They just think, how come nobody's complaining about how it's Christmas and you can't celebrate Christmas because Christianity and you're pushing it down there. No. They just look at it and they just think, that's cute. It's up in the sky. And they tell their kids it's Santa in the sky. And everybody just is in amazement because they just want to continue living in a fantasy land. These are 40-year-olds who want to go to Disney and relive their childhood, or 40-year-olds who are buying their old childhood toys and trying to relive their past, not knowing why they're constantly trying to relive their past, right? They're just like, it's just better times back then. And if you just study basic psychology tells us that when adults start acting out like children or wanting to do things from their childhood, they're regressing as human beings because they're afraid to confront and face any type of obstacles in their lives. And what's the obstacle in all of our lives? Well, our government is. Our government is destroying the minds of many. So, meanwhile, while Santa Claus is projected up in the sky, what is everybody doing? Is anybody asking about Project Bluebeam? Is anybody thinking that the government has something planned? I mean, everybody's feeling it, right? Everybody's feeling that something is potentially coming. I mean, you can't run into anybody out there that doesn't. But they continue to just tell themselves that everything's going to be okay. And this is the stuff that the children out there, the adult children, need, right? And then they, of course, project this onto their children, and everybody lives in lollipop land, right? Instead of just looking at it basically and saying, okay, this is not safe, right? Oh, look, the government could create holograms in the sky. I wonder if they created holograms in the sky on that wonderful day on the 11th of September many years ago, when they did a controlled demo. And then they told us that, I wonder. I don't know. Some people believe, that they did, right? I mean, they have pretty unbelievable technology. And remember, the video clips that I just showed you that were shared by Jesus Saves, that's the subscriber's name on the website. That's from raw, camera footage from people's phones, right? I mean, and it still looks pretty clear. I mean, if you aren't familiar with Project Bluebeam and what the plans are here, you need to become familiar because there's going to be massive deceptions. And Christians need to be aware too. Because many of us, now I'm not saying this is that I don't have a clue what their game plan is. I'm not a member of the CIA. I don't have any intel. Okay, all we could do is look at the stuff they show us, the technology we know they have, and just start, being very, very, very cautious of anything that's coming and not to believe in it. So I know a lot of Christians out there are sitting back waiting for a rapture. I get yelled at constantly, or I hear a lot of people commenting on and it's just a back and forth argument in Christianity, and you'll see it in the comment section too under this video. But people need to be very aware of the technology they have, and they could fake things like that and do certain things. Now, a lot of people think it'll be the reverse way, that they'll use some type of deception to deceive people that the rapture didn't occur and say it was an alien invasion. One way or the other, the government has something planned with something in the sky because they've been telling us about it for a long time. They didn't make up all this stuff about aliens to not do something about it. Okay, they didn't come up with this deception to convince people every single day that the government is hiding stuff about UFOs they don't want you to know about. Now, of course, what they tell you is not going to be true. That's why the alt-right, they love them. They're like, it's a conspiracy. They're hiding aliens. They never talk about Nephilim. They never talk about Antarctica. They never talk about the fallen ones. They never talk about demons. They never talk about Aleister Crowley. Okay, that's a big thing that people need to know about. That's one of the reasons that people like us aren't able to speak. That's one of the reasons that I'm not allowed to talk. Is because when you start breaking this stuff down, they give you a little truth and then they take you off on this ride, right? So they're not going to talk about CIA, Project Bluebeam, and things like that. They're going to tell you to celebrate Christmas and take a load off and relax, and they're going to tell you it's pagan. You see all the alt-right with Christmas. Oh, they're trying to cancel Christmas. As Christmas is about Jesus, they don't talk about Saturnalia. None of it. While they throw Santa Claus into the sky and nobody mentions Nimrod or Satan Claus or anything like that, right? You know, and all the things, all the old imagery, the illustrations that we've seen over the years of Satan and Santa, and you know, it's folklore. We're living in folk. We're living really in just like this, and like I said, like a lollipop land. So our government can fly this stuff over the sky and do this stuff, and everybody out there is just they're like getting their kids, they're getting their, oh, did you see this? How cool. Nobody for 1 second is like, hey, you know what? What in the world are we allowing our government what kind of tech do they have? What are they going to use this for? Nobody trusts the government from the opposite party, right? Like I keep saying, the liberals don't trust the conservatives in power, and the conservatives don't trust the liberals in power. How about we don't trust any of them in power? And the fact that they have this type of tech, and we see all the advancement in technology, and it's just completely unregulated. And the fact that we don't want it regulated by the government, we want it stopped by the government. If the government doesn't stop it, then the rest of us need to take it upon ourselves to stop it, because nobody made these people, you know, these big tech companies with their quantum computers, nobody granted them power. Nobody granted them authority to censor people on the internet. Nobody granted them authority to unleash this crap upon our civilization. Did any of us grant them the authority to put this tech out there that would take jobs away from human beings? I mean, as humans, shouldn't we all band together and say absolutely not? No, because we live in a crazy world now where if people don't agree with the way you speak, they want you to not even be able to make income. It's not, oh, we don't want them to have a job. You don't want to take a potion, you shouldn't have a job. Oh, I don't like what this person says. Oh, take their income away. That's how insane and unhinged these people are getting. And we're getting to a point where, yeah, we can look at a story like this. A lot of people out there will laugh, etc. But the government continues to move forward with the advancements in technology while we all sit back. And then this is a perfect example of it, right? There's like, oh, it's not a big deal. It's a hologram in the sky of Santa. Oh yeah, it's not a big deal. Okay, well, are we taking out the notion that you're telling your kids about Santa and all these fables, etc., and pretty much setting them on a course to live in an alternate reality where they have to turn to things like Santa so they can't face confrontation, so we can't have any type of a revolution here in this country or around the world against these tyrannical governments, this tyrannical New World Order. Oh, okay, yeah, let's continue to do that. I constantly hear that. People are like, Santa and the kids, there's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot wrong with it, right? Because if you said, oh, this guy's lying to his child, you'd probably be like, well, why is he, what kind of father's that? Oh, but it's okay when it's Santa. It's okay when it's the Easter Bunny, right? Of course, Christians tie that in somehow to their faith. They don't even realize that it's nothing to do with Christianity. So anyway, I'm gonna rant off the topic. But my point is that when we see this stuff and we know what they're capable of, people just see this and they dismiss it. They don't think, oh my goodness. They could fake something in the sky. They could deceive us by doing something in the sky. They just look at it because they're so desensitized and they're like, oh, sooner or later they'll be selling that at Walmart. They'll have that. Don't they have those things at Walmart where the people, they put the cheap reflections on their home and it looks like it's snowing even though it doesn't look like it's snowing? Or they put the projection of the Santa and the reindeer on their front house and it just shines on there. And, that's what they think. That's how their brain works. It just goes no further than that. It just stops there. When they see it, they're like, that guy's over the top. Right. And when you're literally like looking for water and stuff, they'll still be like, these people are over the top. When they cut your water supply off and your food supply off, right? Now, those are two completely different topics, but they tie into each other. Because the government is doing nothing but lying and deceiving people. And when they start showing us these things out in the open, we've seen so many different things anyway in the sky already, but nobody asks questions about it. Nobody goes, hey, what's going on? They're just like, oh, they don't even ask who's behind it. Right? They don't even go, hey, who is shining that up in the sky? Right? Oh, it's the government because the government just decided they want to put Santa in the sky. The Democrats who don't believe in Christmas. Christmas is supposed to be Christianity. I mean, it's nonsense on top of nonsense in this lollipop reality that we're living in. So anyway, I just thought it was hilarious. And this was shared on the website again by Jesus Saves, a great subscriber over there. A lot of the people on the website, everyone on the website is great. A lot of people on the website, they don't just go over there for the exclusive content. They share a lot of great stuff. So I would never have seen this if it hadn't been shared because the mainstream media is not covering it, really. Not that they shouldn't. Even if they did, everybody out there would just go, oh, listen to this crazy conspiracy guy. Oh, it's just a good time. People are having fun. This guy's a stick in the mud. That's the kind of crap that I always constantly hear. It doesn't offend me at all. I couldn't care less. I just can't believe that people continue to see stuff like this, get so desensitized and just go, yeah, nothing can go wrong with this type of technology. You got these guys meeting together talking about, hey, you know, even Elon Musk, I got him, you know, the guys who are going to be responsible, like, hey, you know, this technology could go rogue and kill off humanity. And everyone just continues to go about their day instead of going, yeah, you know what, maybe we should stop this now. And if the government's not going to do it, then they need to be overthrown. But something needs to be done because this needs to be stopped. That's all. That's plain and simple. And the government sits there and they just debate stuff in the Senate and nothing gets done. And everyone just goes in a circle and they go back to their phone and they go back to their, you know, oh, I'm going to order, you know, a Ninja Turtle toy from my childhood today, or I'm going to play Nintendo. And they just continue to regress and regress to the point of when this thing gets shut down, everybody's just going to go haywire because they're not prepared to handle what's coming, right? And a lot of it's going to be, you know, through technology in the future. Once we get through the first reset here, which I believe is coming very soon with the grid, then we're going to see lots of stuff up in the sky, and people are going to believe whatever they see. They're going to believe whatever they see up in the sky. Just like I'm sure people actually believe, you know, like a child believed that that was really Santa, I'm sure, because the parents were like, look, it's Santa. They didn't say, hey, the government's flying, you know, putting that up there with, you know, using technology to put up in the sky. The parents, I'm sure, told their kids, they were like, it's really Santa, right? Well, those same adults are going to be the same way because it's one and the same. They're going to go, oh, it's really aliens, right? Because everybody's living in lollipop land. I thank everybody for being here. Hope to see you over on the website. Hope everybody's doing well. God bless you as always and your families.